Wolf's pack. Let's do this. It is day friggin' 5. Congratulations. Honestly, it's been amazing so far. We've had an absolutely amazing time so far. We've learned some amazing stuff. I hope you guys have been really getting into this and making sure that you integrate it completely in your body. How are you feeling so far? Who is excited? Let me know in the comments box. Are you excited? Are you getting something out of this? I just see my buddy Paul Trelaw come on. Look at that. Miss Carly, how are you? So I hope everybody's excited. Let's get this rocking and rolling. Let's get this last day underway. So what I want to ask first off, how many of you actually managed to get leverage on the 4 things that you've been putting off? Okay, it's very important. Did you find ways to scramble your pattern? Tell us in the comments. Let us know if you've done that. Tell us some of the ways that you've been able to scramble those patterns and what you've done to be able to do that. Awesome. It's awesome. And what we want to do is recondition your new empowered behaviors, right? Remember the new empowering resource that you anchored through your finger and your thumb? Do you remember this last night? I walked in, we actually went for lunch today in Southport, and I seen Carmen in there, and I didn't realize what she was doing, but she was doing this to me, which was fantastic. So we're getting out right across Australia. It's amazing, and I want you guys to keep practicing this. Make sure you do this association over and over and over again. I want you to integrate it into your body. Congratulations to everybody who's stuck it out so far. Remember, these are gradual small steps that we are taking, okay? Stay consistent, and these steps will start to stack up. And if you haven't already, you will soon be making massive change in your life. I hope you guys can see that now. All right, let's get into day 5. How can you get everything you want in life? That is what we will start to address today by addressing something we call your state. Does that make sense? And no, we're not talking about the state of Queensland. You know I'm here and I'm a proud Queensland. But seriously, how do you get what you want in your life? Most people have general ideas, but they lack clarity on exactly what they do want. Ultimately, what we all want in life, hopefully, is to feel joy, to be happy, right? We all want the feeling that is associated with the goal. It's not so much the business that you want, it's the feeling you think it will create when you have that business. It's not so much the money that you want, it's the feeling you will gain with the money. So you can either buy stuff or help other people out, visit different countries, experience new things. It's not the marriage or the relationship that you truly want, it's how you feel that's important. It's all about the feeling. Does that make sense? Ultimately, we want to feel good. We want to feel joy. We want to experience pleasure and avoid pain. So why does our success vary in so many different areas and at different times in our life? Sometimes things are going really great, everything's rocking. Other times it's like, geez, what the F is happening right now, right? The difference is not only you're in Europe, it's absolutely nothing to do with your ability. It's the emotional state that you're in. It's not what people can do, it's what people will do based on their state. Does that make sense? So how you feel at any point in time is the result of you directing your mind and your body. Once you take responsibility of managing your state, you can master your life. I want you to think about successful people. Like, let's use some examples like Elvis Presley, Heath Ledger, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, Robin Williams. They all have one tragic thing in common. They all had good reasons by most people's standards to be totally happy. They had fame, they had money, they had just about everything that most people ask for. But they're no longer alive. Why? Because they could not control their own emotional state. They used drugs or alcohol to change their state and control how they felt. Let me tell you about a guy called Nick Vujicic. All right, I hope I got his last name right. I have been dead set practicing that all day long. Nick is an Australian. He's got a disease called tetra amelia syndrome. It's a rare disorder which saw him born with no arms and no legs, right? He's one of the 7 known surviving individuals on the planet worldwide who actually live with this syndrome. And it would have been easy for him to give up, right? He's got no arms, he's got no legs. Most people would think that that would absolutely trap you into a state of suffering. No, He has gone on to become one of the world's leading motivational speakers. He's written best-selling books, he's starred in movies, and he's even released his own music video. This is with no arms, no legs. He's still achieved more than most full-bodied people. Why? It's because of the state of mind that he consistently lives in. See, what people really want in life is to change one of two things. Either the way they feel about something, example, from moving frustrated to confident, or sad to happy, or from depressed to emotionally strong, or they want to change a behavior, like stop smoking or drinking, or start taking massive action on exercise and start to enjoy it, to follow through on their commitments. A quick recall of the meaning of strategy of the WOLF program, okay? I want to go through this one more time. The W stands for what? Does everyone remember? Write in the comments box. Let's see if you remember what the W stands for. We've seen some stuff come through. The W, yes, is for why. Why always comes first. It's the 80% in the 80-20 rule. You got to know your why. The how will come, okay? Don't get hung up on that. What do we got there? Bring them on camera. Ultimately, all the things and experiences you want are for you to feel a certain way. We all want to be happy. We all want to be satisfied. We all want to be fulfilled. The only reason we want to change our behaviors is we're hoping that if we lose weight, stop procrastinating, start taking action, that we'll actually start to feel good. Everything human beings do is merely an attempt to change the way they feel, to change a state. Does that make total sense? I hope so. From moment to moment, what we do is shaped by our state that we're in. When we're in a frustrated state, we tend to behave very differently than when we're feeling confident or excited or even determined. One of the most important things that we can do to create power, joy, and passion is to learn to manage our own states of our own mind. There are two primary ways to control the state of your mind. The first is physiology, meaning controlling your body. The second is your focus, controlling what you think about. Let's look at the first one, physical movement, right? Tell me something. When somebody enters the room without them having even said a word, we already know how that person's feeling, right? I mean, how do we do that? It's the telltale signs in their posture, in their physiologies that starts to tell you what mood they're in. For an example, what does a depressed person actually look like? Have a think about that for a second. If somebody is absolutely depressed, what do they look like? Are they shoulders forward or are they back? Are their eyes up or are they down? Is their voice high or is it low? See, the fact is we need to get to work on feeling depressed. Changing our posture is an absolute choice. I want you to do something for me right now. I want you to change your posture. As you're standing there, as you're sitting there, whatever you're doing right now, I want you to change your posture right this second into a depressed state. I want you to act like you're totally depressed. I want you to slump your shoulders forward. I want you to do all of that. I want you to go as hard as you can to step into a depressed state, except instead of feeling depressed, I want you to feel happy, right? I want you to feel happy while you're in that state. Can you feel how it's nearly impossible to do that right now? Now, do the absolute opposite. Shake that state out, right? Shake it out. Now, I want you to go into an absolute happy state. Now, how does somebody look when they're happy? Are they shoulders forward, back? Are their eyes up? Where's their breastbone? Where's this bone here? Is it pointing at the ground or is it pointing at a 45-degree angle? Are you walking like you're just sort of swaggering, or you're walking like you've got a fucking cape on your back and you're about to take the day out? I mean, let's face it, when somebody's in a joyous state, when they're in a peak state, get into that mode. And now I want you to try and feel depressed. See, the same thing happens. The same exact principles apply. When your physiology is in a certain way, it's almost impossible to feel a different emotion. I want you to understand what that means. So rather than just do affirmations, change your body posture. Most people, when they want to change the way they feel, they change their physical body in movement. The biochemistry, they use things like alcohol or smoking or eating or overeating or starving themselves or even going to sleep to try and change their mood, their state. But all of it comes down to your physiology. Right, let's do a little exercise real quick. Part of being successful is about measuring. In this case, let's measure the levels of intensity you need to know where you are and where you want to be successful in all areas of your life, right? So what is the dominant state that you are living in your life? Where are you on a scale of 0 to 10? Think about this. This is an exercise just for you. I want you to think about the dominant state that you live in on a day-to-day basis, and then try and rate that out of a 0 to 10. Okay, I'll give you a couple of seconds. Sweet. Okay, write that down. See, emotion is created by motion. See, it means energy in motion. Does that make sense? So, okay, so let's use our physiology to increase our state. The first thing we want to do is move your body differently and develop some what we call power moves. They're deliberate, strong, unhesitating, passionate, exciting movements that give you an immediate sense of certainty. You can also use your voice to put yourself in a peak state. You speak stronger, more rapidly, with a bit more volume, a bit deeper in your chest than you usually would. How you would talk to yourself if you were totally successful, if you were unstoppable, if you were powerful, if you want, let me just say this one time, if you want passion, you must talk with passion. Master your voice, right? Feel the difference in your body and how this can start to help change one person's energy. Have you ever noticed that? This is a very powerful skill to have, especially in relationships. Change your physiology, right? The second bit, changing your breathing, can immediately change your state. Deep breaths create radical different emotional states than shallow breathing that begins up in here, the upper chest, right? So change your breathing, come deeper, come down into your diaphragm. Number 3, radical changes in your facial expressions will immediately change the way you feel. Learn to manipulate your face with the 80 facial muscles that you have. Practice what we call facial aerobics. Stand in the mirror and make small changes to your face, and just slight changes can make a massive difference, right? Number 4 would be changing elements of your diet so you can maximize your health and energy. Pay attention to what you're eating. That's a very big key. And number 5, you get to put all of these together and make significant changes in the patterns of your emotional states you experience on a day-to-day basis. All right, I want you to take action tonight and this weekend. We're going to have some fun with this weekend, right? I'm going to spell this out. I know this is going to probably seem complicated, but it will all be in the notes. So just what I want you to do is I want you to train yourself into a passionate state instantly, right? I want you to ask a friend to join you into an experiment. Sit down together. Ask your friend what they notice when you do certain things. What's your physiology, your face, your voice, your body gestures, your posture throughout the experiment. Number 2, I want to begin to talk about a subject that you're normally passionate about in an exaggerated, dispassionate way. Make sense? As if you don't even really believe in it, or you don't feel strongly about it at all. Have your friend notice what you do with your face, with your voice, with your body, and with your gestures. And then number 3, I want you to change your state radically. Get up, move if necessary. Move around, jump around, who gives a shit? Now talk to your friend about the same subject, but with all the passion, joy, energy, and conviction that you can actually muster, right? And then ask your friend to share with you some of the specific differences in how you moved, how you breathed, how you used your face, how you used your voice, and record this in your journal, okay? These are the biomarkers, the triggers that can cause you to feel passionate in the future. It's very, very cool. It's a very simple experiment, but it does need a friend to help you out, right? Experiment today. At some point, at some moment, when you're feeling calm or if you're feeling negative, I want you to absolutely snap yourself straight away using a passionate state that you learned from the 5 steps that we said earlier. So let me just give you a little example, right? I have different power moves, right? So this one here, this gave us resources yesterday, but I have anchored in over a period of time. When I smack my chest, right, I absolutely go in a state. I know that my voice changes, my physiology changes, my whole shoulders go back, my breastbone starts to point in a 45-degree angle, my chin goes up, and I absolutely start talking from a deeper part in my body. Make sense? And all of a sudden, I feel alive. So what I do is I usually sit there, and anyone that's ever seen me do a seminar, about dead set 3 or 4 seconds before I go on stage, you'll see me jump up and down. I'll start moving around, getting my physiology moving. Then I'll start to snap in a state. And as soon as I do that, I feel ready to go, right? It's absolutely anchored into my neuro pathways. This move instantly puts me in move, right? We had a business meeting up in Brisbane recently, and I was in the flattest mood I ever had in my life. I was absolutely just feeling down. There was a hell of a lot of stuff going on around me. Didn't want to be at the business meeting, and I couldn't even bring myself to drive myself to the actual meeting. What happened was that we stood outside. I was feeling flat. I looked like I was just death warmed up. Sat outside the meeting right before we go in. Jump, 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 and snap. I walked into the meeting and I friggin' owned it, right? Why? Because I was in state. When I walked out of the room, got back in the car, I nearly collapsed. I was gone, right? But it was all about being in state in that moment. So what I want you to do is practice this stuff, do these exercises all weekend, right? So a summary of day 5. You can change the way you feel in an instant by changing the way you move. Breathe, use facial expressions, or make any new demand on your body. Number 2, the state you're in determines your behavior and also your performance. If you want to change your performance in anything, whether it's business, sports, relationships, the first thing you do have to do is change your state. In any situation, if you put yourself in a peak state, you will be able to use more of the capabilities inside your body. Make sense? Step 3, remember, you're always responsible for your own states. You are the only one responsible. There is a lot of bad shit that happens in the world, right? But you are responsible for your states. Please let that sink in. After the next few days of learning, you won't only just be responsible, you'll know how to quickly and easily change the way you feel about virtually anything. Move yourself into a peak performance state at will. Does that sound exciting? I hope so. So what have we learned this week, Wolves? Let me recap. On day 1, we understood that we all have our own personal strength that we can use to create an extraordinary life, right? The past does not equal your future. We learned the Wolf formula. That was why, onward, learn, and be flexible in your strategy for success. Day 2, as you remember, we covered the twin forces that drive and stop you from taking action, and that is pain and pleasure. Day 3, we looked at the quadrant of destiny, right? The cause, the effect, the direction, and then the destiny, and what neuro associations are. Day 4, we used the 3-step technique to eradicate neuro associations that no longer serve us. Remember, we used leverage, then a pattern interrupt, then we reconditioned the method and the empowering associations, and we started to anchor the best possible things in with this squeeze of this finger, right? I want you to continue to do that all weekend. And you do not have to stop doing that. Every time you are in a peak state in anything, if you feel it's a confident, you feel self-discipline, you feel like you're on top of it, I want you to squeeze those 2 fingers and I want you to anchor it in while you're in that moment. We're going to rewire that part of our brain. And day 5, today, we helped you to instantly change the state you're in. Why? Because the state you're in affects your behavior, totally affects your performance. Tomorrow, day 6, I have something completely different, right? It's actually pretty special. The time will be different too. So I want you guys who are totally into reprogramming yourself and getting this actually happening. Tomorrow, it's an early start to the day. We are broadcasting at 6 a.m. That is not p.m., that is a.m. tomorrow morning, right? Tomorrow we're going to learn a thing called priming yourself to start your day. This is a massive video for me. It's something that I share sometimes on stage. This is a different version than you've probably seen before. It is exactly how I start my day. I know some of you guys have routines that you want to do. That's great. This is for those who want to take it to the next level. This is absolutely some of the best stuff that I've ever been able to implement in my life, all right? And then next week, we're going to be absolutely adding to this as well. Remember, Saturday and Sunday, there will be a video but I want to do something different here, right? The videos will come out in the morning, and I want you to enjoy your weekend. See, the whole weekend, this life is about balance, okay? It's all about balance. It's not about trying to work 7 days a week. If we do that, we're gonna burn out. Remember, tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., if you don't catch it live, don't stress. I want you to do it when you get up. It will be recorded. You guys will be able to get this stuff into you, and you'll be able to start to learn what this prime is about and start to take your life to the next order. I am so excited for next week. Next week, we have got a massive week planned. Trust me when I say we're going to be using all of the skills. We needed to lay the foundation. You needed to understand some of this stuff so that we can train our brain for the success that we're going to build on next week. So I'll see you bright and early, Wolves. I want to give it a howl. Give me a howl. Oh! Wolves, I love you. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will dead set. I will see you in the morning at 6 a.m.